Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Jordan, and I'm here to do another little video cast. It's been a while. In spite of recent events, I decided it was time to kind of let some emotions come out. I mean, with everything that's happened today, for one, rough day at work, of course. I mean, that kind of dragged the day down. But I mean, of course, the major topic that everyone now seems to be talking about is, of course, the unfortunate shooting that happened at the up in Connecticut at the elementary school. And I very much have to say, first off, my heart and my thoughts and my prayers go out to the families and the children that were affected in this utter tragedy. Their lives have been changed in such a manner that words can't even begin to describe the utter turmoil that everyone there has been affected by. Children will, while young, they will remember this day for the rest of their lives. Poor souls are going to have nightmares for a long time. Families who have lost their children from this, in their prime of their years, they have lost their loved ones and their children. I mean, practically still babies, innocent, pure innocence, lost for what reason, we don't know. Why this man did this went on some kind of a maniacal twist of just sheer irony, of just stupidity, hate, aggression, anger. It's unfathomable. I can't even go into words about it. I mean, I can't even begin to talk about it because it makes me sick, utterly sick. I talked to my mom earlier, who was watching the news broadcast earlier today when she got home from work, and she said she almost vomited just because of the description of everything. And of course, it brings a tear to your eye. I haven't had the chance to watch the broadcast from Obama about him talking about it, and of course him getting very emotional about it. I mean, I can't say for anything about him. It's just what was said, but at the same time, I can feel the emotion regardless. Anyone can feel the emotion. You don't have to watch a message. You don't have to see anything. You just have to think, who in their mind causes such destruction to a child? People he probably didn't even know he has destroyed, taken away from this life. So that brings me to my point, or at least the main topic of now discussion: gun control, gun rights, violence in the environment, in the workplace, in the community, in society. This is going to be the main little topic of the evening. What drives somebody to such a level of evil that it ferments to a boiling point and it makes them completely snap? Let's go ahead and give that discussion here a little bit. Let's go ahead and throw some opinions. I'm going to try not, I do not mean, I can't even talk right now because this is just such a massive topic. Do not seek to insult or anger anyone regardless of the issues here. My only objective here is to make people think, to make people aware, and to even get people on a positive note talking about what can be done. This is not Democrat, Republic. This is not liberal or right-wing or I'm conservative. Nothing about that. What we want to talk about and what we want to establish is what can be done to better secure our future and also to bring down the level of violence. That is what the goal is here. No hate comments, no bashing of anything, all right? So let's go ahead and start with the main topic here of gun control. A good friend of mine, Corey Fluker, I don't know if you're going to watch this, Corey, but you made a very good point. I'm actually going to go ahead and see if I can actually go ahead and read your comment here real quick as soon as I can pull you up here on Facebook. Corey made a very interesting point and statement on his Facebook. I'm sure a lot of you have even probably maybe even seen this, but he goes to say in his on his status here that uh, senseless acts of violence should never be condoned or tolerated, and we should do all that we can to prevent them. Uh, these outbursts are symptoms. It is right to treat the symptoms, but if you want true healing, you must go to the infection, the sinful heart. You can try and prevent a man from obtaining a gun or threaten him with jurisdiction, but if that man is bent on destruction, there is no law or barrier or threat that can de-alienate him, that can basically prevent him from carrying out the evil in his heart. He unfortunately, we all witnessed this firsthand in Virginia Tech. What we need is life transformation that begins with the heart. We need men and women that have been transformed by the gospel. This is the antidote. This is the cure for a sinful heart. Christ in you, the hope of glory. Now, not treading on religion or anything like that. In a sense, he is right, though. The object is not evil. The main source of the object is not evil. The person who is wielding said object, however, that is the controlling factor right there, and that is per se the one who commits the act, be it for good or for evil. Law enforcement officials, they stand behind that gun, and they have taken an oath to serve and protect the public. They use those weapons to not only defend themselves, but to defend the public, be it in a aggressive gang shootout or a robbery that is going on, or some kind of mass violence of some sort of degree. Soldiers use this, and soldiers have across the years have used them in war. While people have fought for various reasons and for various beliefs, the gun was the delivery method of protection or persecution or hate or defense. The gun itself is just an inanimate object. How you use it, though, that is the key factor, one of the key factors at least. That's just go to say, okay, this bottle, okay, this beer bottle, which still has some beer left in it, but that's beside the point. This bottle right here, I enjoy to drink. Yes, I drink on occasions. However, let's just go to say that this beer is evil in the sense that it makes one an alcoholic. No. A person who is responsible, knows their limits, and thinks with their head is a good-mannered person and is not an alcoholic. An alcoholic, however, drinks because he wants to, drinks because he has access to it, and drinks just because. That doesn't necessarily make the beer evil or the bottle containing the beer set evil. The intentions behind the person. I want to drink just because. Okay. So said and done. Am I evil? No, I just took a sip of beer. This is actually only my one beer for the night. I bought a 6-pack, but I have not drank all of it. I'm still very much coherent in my thoughts and in my verse. I do tend to stutter sometimes or get caught up in my words, but that's just because I'm struggling to find the right words, as many of you probably know me from conversations beforehand. But case in point, another case in point that it's now, of course, that is now coming up in all throughout the news. My friend Ben, I'm not sure if you're going to watch this either, Ben, but Ben linked a video feed of Fox News making the claim that violent video games is one of the main leads that led this man to go on such a violent rampage. Okay, I think that's kind of treading the line here a little bit. While I will say that, yes, we are now coming into an age where video games and the virtual world itself is getting gradually a little bit more violent. Graphics are getting better, storylines are coming up a little bit more, the technology is improving. Yes, blood and gore and is becoming a little bit more of the viral thing. Just the sheer horror. Of course, Modern Warfare, Call of Duty, all the war games and the first-person shooters are, of course, making their way throughout every household and video console, not only in America but around the world. Yes, some of them are graphically violent. Some of them are, yes, pretty just mind-blowingly like evil. But at the same time, shall we say that that thing makes it evil? Yes, my first majorly violent game, I guess you could say, was Grand Theft Auto 3 when that came out on the PlayStation 2. Yes, you could get an M16 and you could go out onto the street and just shoot pedestrians at random. You could grab a car and you could drive over people or through buildings and blow things up with a tank and all like that. But did that make me snap? No. I'm sitting here in my room in Richmond, no weapons of value. While I do have a few swords hanging on my wall at home, they're only merely for decorational purposes. Some of them do have a sharp edge, some of them do have pointed tips, but at the same time, I'm not walking down the street beheading people just because I can or I've snapped or anything like that. No. Where I think that falls is to parents that need to, or just not just parents alone, but everyone in general needs the education where that person is taught from a young age. You have to be from a young age. The young age, I mean, ages of 1, 2, 3, and 4 are critical stages in a child's development. What they see, they will repeat. What they say, what one person says, those words have an effect on that child. If a child witnesses or is part of a violent marriage for a long period of time, or is a victim of abuse, that child is emotionally scarred. And if that's all that child knows, that's all that child will think as he gets older. It's kind of almost like if you teach one person to steal from a young age, whereas you teach one person to give from a young age, as they get older, they're going to do as they've been taught, because that's all they know. My parents, I definitely have to very much thank them for raising me as they did, for being the wonderful parents that they are, instilling the notions in me of compassion, caring, thinking, just, pretty much the basic concepts of being good to a fellow person. If someone mistreats you, don't act out on aggression on them. That just makes things worse. Education is not getting out there to, I think, the younger crowd, to the younger generation. While some people have no control, something needs to be done. I don't know what, but what is there that can be done? Some people are saying more gun control. Some people are more saying that we need to have more lockdown, thoroughbred screenings of histories and so forth like that. What, though, can be done? I mean, if a weapon is a weapon regardless, if guns are, yes, readily available, yes, some of them are a little bit more powerful than what they need to be, and we have more access to them than we should. But if someone is really intent on causing harm, no matter what you do, they will find a way to cause harm. If that's the case, then if we ban assault weapons, what's to prevent someone who is well versed in the creation of such methods to be able to go out and get their own scrap metal and basically build their own weapon from scratch? You can do it with a club, you can do it with a knife, you can do it with a gun, you can kill people by any of those means. So I'm trying to think as to what can be done. We could raise the prices of said materials, yes, but that's only going to make things, people stealing from scrap yards, stealing from cars, stealing from the parts that will be necessary, or even in finding ingenuitive ways to create something. We could impose, yes, more jail time or very much harder restrictions. But in the end, it all kind of comes down back to the basic point. If someone really wants to do a crime or get their hands on a gun, they will find a way to do it. I'm lost on words on what we can do with that. I really do not know. But I would say that if anything, education will probably be the key factor that will help to not only bring down violence, but to help our society as a whole. That is personally my own belief. If anyone has a better idea that could be done to help bring down the violence, by all means, please share it with the world. And for everything else that's going on, let's not bash each other in this time frame. Let's not call out another person just because their idea just doesn't sound good or it doesn't appease your own opinions about that. We need to get thinking. We need to get control. We need to become one again. I mean, what has happened to the unity of the country? Everybody is divided. You're either liberal, conservative, Democrat, Republican. Yes, we have some other organizations out there or other different political parties, but we are still splintered. And of course, when one person voices an opinion, another person comes into the picture and says, "You don't agree with me. I hate you for those rumors." That doesn't get anywhere. That doesn't do anything. That's not productive. That's not productive, if anything. If anything, two people who have very different opinions should come together and say, "Hey, this is kind of how I feel about the subject, and this is what I think we could do," followed by person B. You know, while I don't agree with all those opinions, this is how I feel about all this. Then the two people say, you might actually have something there. What if we did such and such? Followed by person B. You know, that actually might be something to work there. We can maybe even compromise about this. I mean, as to what can be done. Compromise. Let's talk things out. Let us get together in a civil manner and actually think for once. Let's do something for a change instead of just talking about it, sitting down and doing nothing. That is pretty much about, I guess, as much as I'm going to get out of this. I think I'm starting to run out of steam here, actually. But I guess, hey, let's just talk it out. Put some comments up. Put your own opinions out there. Let's not bash one another. Let's not critique one another just because another person's opinions are different from ours. Let's, for once, and think of, and in honor and in memory of those who are lost, let's try to come up with some very viable solutions that will help in the future bring us not only together, but bring peace back to this great country of ours. And even for that matter, let's bring it back to the world itself. Weapons are all over the world. Weapons are, of course, they're everywhere. You can't get away from it. Let us teach our younger generations, and even let's educate some of those now, that violence has not and will never be the proper answer. It only causes more hurt, destruction, and instability. I think that's about all I got on here, but I'm going to go ahead sign off here from this. I'm actually interested in seeing some of the comments that come from this, if any do. I don't even know if anyone watches these, but I guess they're my own little ways of venting or anything like that. But oh well. See you all later. Have a good night, and if anything, let's all try to have ourselves a happy holidays from here on out. All right. Take care.